Hello there. I'm Scotty, and you're not. And we are moved on to Teen Beach a Movie. Still a good movie. Still a good movie. There are some problems with it, but it's still a good movie. Story time. As I told how I got into those ones, I'm getting it. How I got into this one. So, I admit that, I have a disability, if you haven't tell. I am autistic. I have autism, I have ADHD, I have ADD. I'm a whole bag of fucked up. But, so, with people like us, we don't mature, right? Like, we still, So I talk about a lot of kids stuff, kids shows I grew up with. This, obviously, I didn't grow up with. It was 2013. I don't watch Disney Channel as much unless my son wants to watch it now. But we grew out of it. Nickelodeon, this same. I think I've grown out of watching those shows. Cartoon Network really changed the way they are, and that was like the first one to go. And then Disney Channel went, and Nickelodeon still. Like if I'm watching with my son, we'll watch like Henry Danger, Danger Force, and all those shows, some Disney stuff, But at the time that this came out, I was watching Disney Channel. There were shows I was watching, 2013. Summer of 2013, this was coming out. Teen Beach Movie starring Austin and Ali's Ross Lynch, who I didn't know at the time, and Maya Mitchell, who I also didn't know. I don't know any of these people in this, except for the butler from Jessie, Kevin. Of course, they're not here. And the guy who plays the villain, Steve Valentine, because he was from another Disney series, Disney XD, called I'm in the Band, where he played the lead singer of Iron Weasel, Derek Jupiter. And here he plays the evil Dr. Camembert? Less Camembert, yeah. Less cheese. The cheese. Because I think it's French. The cheese. Le Camembert. The cheese. That's his name. I didn't think about that till now. Yeah, he's a villain. He was a villain in two other Disney Channel original movies as well, being Wizards of Waverly Place, the movie. He was kind of a sidekick because his parrot was the actual villain. Don't ask. I'll get to that eventually. And actually, I could actually cover that in this because they are on a tropical island. It is technically a summer movie, so maybe I'll cover that last. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. And he was the boogeyman, the boogie person, and don't look under the bed. So, yeah. But we do have some actors I'd recognize now. Like I said, Ross Lynch, Maya Mitchell. Ross Lynch was the star of Austin and Ally. He was Austin Moon, which is a show I got into after this because I saw this. I'm like, what? I should try to see another show, and I got into it. So, yeah, Maya Mitchell, I guess, started on Jessie before this. Then, hey, just say it. Ooh. I like that show. I got debunked more, and then much like High School Musical, like I think Grace Phipps. I don't know what she's called anymore. She has a last name. I think she was on Jessie or something before too. But then you have Jordan Fisher, who would go on to be like a big. He's like a music star now, and he's Bart Allen, aka Impulse, on The Flash. You got this guy would be a recurring character. He would be a recurring character on the show Twisted, which will come out after this. She was in the Pitch Perfect movies, and he would be in the movie Don't Hang Up with another Disney Channel alum, the British guy from Wizards of Waverly Place. That's all I know. And Barry Bostwick and Suzanne Cryer were in this. So the story tells of Mac and Brady, two people who we find out in the second film had met over this summer and have, had a summer romance, summer loving, and they love to surf. But Mac is going to go to this private school that she promised her mom, her Aunt Antoinette, played by Suzanne Cryer, was going to take her there like the next day, even though it's gonna be big waves, they're gonna go. But she decides to surf first, and she uses this surfboard. It was like a family heirloom, and her grandfather doesn't think that it's like, he sees that the weather is kind of rough. There's like a storm coming, so Brady goes in to save her, but the surfboard takes them into Brady's favorite movie, West Side Story, which is basically just another version of West Side Story but on a beach. Bikers and surfers don't like each other. They're in competition for this place called Big Mama's, and they're torn apart. But of course, a biker chick and a surfer dude fall for each other. In her case, literally, and so then that brings them together to fight the cheese at the end, the evil cheese man at the end, and stop them. That's the movie. That's their movie, the movie that they watch, which is also your grandfather's movie he likes to watch. So, yeah, so, first and foremost, so we start off with this song, right? Song playing, which is sung by Maya Mitchell. And much like the beginning of Camp Rock, it's kind of like, it's the star of the movie singing the song, but she doesn't sing it again in the movie. But it's still like she doesn't like singing. She's not, she's against it, and yet this song is sung by the actress. I don't know. It's a good song. But, yeah, they do the surf thing, and then they meet up. They establish who the characters are, dating, whatever. And then we meet the grandfather, played by Barry Bostwick, who is cleaning a surfboard. He owns a surf shop, and they're watching the movie. And this is where we get the exposition of the movie, wherein, like I said, the bikers and the surfers don't like each other, and there's a scene where Layla, the biker chick, is singing the song "Falling for You" on the stage. She falls off the stage into Tanner's, the surfer guy's, arms, and that's what starts their romance, and that's what, and when that happens, they're pulled apart, and there's like a big dance battle and stuff like that. And it's very important later in the film. While they're there, Aunt Antoinette, played by Susan Cryer. First of all, I want to point out Barry Bostwick. I loved him as the mayor on Spin City. I thought he was great comedic time, and he's good here. He's not as comedic, as that show, but he's good here. He's not overly used, but he's kind of underused, but he's still okay for what he's. Suzanne Cryer shows up as Aunt Antoinette. And I gotta tell you, I know her from Two Guys and a Girl. Two Guys and a Girl. She had to go to the prison place, but it's Two Guys and a Girl. And I think she was the perfect actress to play this sort of stuck-up, hoity-toity type character. Because that's what her character actually was on Two Guys and a Girl. So I think that works very well here. And so it's perfect casting for me. And no, she's in no way related to Suzanne Cryer. In fact, on the show, John Cryer was her boyfriend at one time on the Two Guys and a Girl. But they're not related in any way. So, no. Before you ask. No. So, she explains to Brady, oh, I, promised my mother that she was going to be successful. So, she's going to go to this private school. He doesn't want her to do it. And the next morning she wakes up. The surfboard is outside the door. Now, it's always left up to interpretation whether or not Brady put the board there, the grandfather put the board there, or the board just did it. Now, I always think it's not the grandfather, it's just either Brady or the board. I think it's supposed to imply that the board did it itself. Because before that scene, you see the little flower on it, shine, shimmer, whatever, and then the next scene when she opens the door, it's there. So we're supposed to imply that it did it itself. So she goes out, surf, and the grandfather's like, I don't like the look of those clouds. So Brady goes out to help her. They crash into the water, and they end up in the movie. Yep, they're in the movie West Side Story. And you get the musical numbers. The musical numbers in this are good. Like, this is your stereotypical musical, but the dance choreography was done think it was Kenny Ortega, but I can't find anything here that says that. Choreography. Oh no, Christopher Scott and Jeffrey Hornaday. Never mind. Christopher Scott and Jeffrey Hornaday did the choreography. Sorry, I know. Ortega, I think, did the High School Musical ones, but not bad choreography. Some good dance moves and stuff. And so they're both very confused as to why they're there. And I think this is played well. They're both very confused, but Brady is on the positive side of things, where she's negative. She believes that she has to get back to go on that flight to do what her aunt wants her to do, and that's kind of a conflict thing. And like they do address this at the end of the film, and she's like, "Oh, I've been telling Layla to do what she wants, but I'm listening to my own advice or whatever." And it's like, yeah, because so what happens is that they go to this thing at Big Mama's, which is what so the story of the movie. I hadn't finished the story of the movie. So the story of the movie is that little Big Cheese guy wants to tear down Big Mama's because he wanted to buy it. She said no, because as Max says, that there wouldn't be a movie if she did say yes. So he making his weather machine to destroy Big Mama's and then put a parking lot. Pay Paradise, put up a parking lot. You know what I'm saying? Didn't I say that? I said that in a recent review. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that's what he wants to do. So he's the villain, and the villains are great. With I don't remember what the guy from Jesse's name is in this, but yeah. Yeah, so they get in there, and the falling for you sequence happens, but because they're there, they mess it up. Brady wants Mac to dance with him. She says, "No, I gotta go," and she bumps into Tanner, who is too stunned by her to catch Layla. So Brady has to go catch her, and that completely screws it up because now Layla wants Brady, and Tanner wants Mac. So that really confounds things, and so they have to, try to get them back together. There is one problem I caught this time, though. I don't know if I caught it before, but they're talking, and Layla comes out, and she sees them both together. She goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. Are you together? I would never take another chick's man or something like that." And I'm like, all you needed to do was say, "Yeah, we're together. We're boyfriend and girlfriend. We're dating. Sorry," and she would move on. Because as we find out later, the movie kind of puts itself back together towards the end. They did kind of help a little bit, set up the meeting, but the movie does kind of reconnect to put somebody together. It wants to happen that way. So, yeah, but if they did that, say, "Yeah, okay, no, we're together," and they walk off, I don't know. It would have been a short movie, maybe. I don't know. But so they have to convince the other one, and this is where my first problem is. So Tanner, I've never liked the characterization of Tanner in either movie because it's the same performance from Garrett. Hold on. I have the DVD. Don't hang up. Garrett Clayton? Garrett Clayton, that's his name, yeah. Garrett Clayton. So you think that, and maybe it's like oh, I got you audience type thing, like they're trolling the audience with this, but like you think Tanner would be this cool, calm, collected surfer guy, but he's a goof. Like he's like, I can go hi too. Like he's stupid. He's an idiot. She's like, "Oh, was that?" He says something like moving, and she's like, "Was that Shakespeare?" He's like, "No, that was me." He's an idiot. He's a goof. I don't know. I never thought of it. And I'll talk about the way it happens in the second one. I'll talk about that when I get to that one. But I don't know. Like Layla at some points is kind of stupid as well, but she's smarter than he is. I don't know. But Layla's one of those characters who I guess wants to do more herself than other guys, but this is all she knows. Plays in the loop and all that, so it's what they're supposed to do. But because they were torn apart, they realize, hey, nothing's happening because not torn apart, but because they fell for different people. There's no torn apart. There's no dance battle because it didn't happen like it was supposed to. So they didn't, you know, they can't move forward. And that's cool. Then the next scene, they're outside talking, and then people are just sitting around talking in Big Mama's, and it's like, shouldn't they still just be standing there, not knowing what to do? I don't know. So they had to come up with a plan to get them together. And there's a song, and it was a song which doesn't work. They tried "It's Meant to Be," and so they decide, Brady isn't knowledgeable. It's his favorite movie. They say that the surfer dudes have a hang out at Big Mama's while the biker chicks go to a sleepover. And so it's so easy for Brady. He's like, "Hey Tanner, what are you doing? Oh, we're gonna hang out at Big Mama's later. Wanna come?" Girls seem to overcomplicate things. "Hey Mac, hey Layla, you should invite Mac to your sleepover," which she does, and it just like, so for all this like surfer biker hoo-ha, they just allow Mac to go to this party and no one else complains. She's just there and they're fine with it. Like, it's okay to have anyone else there as long as they're not surfers. Is that how it works? Same thing the opposite way. So we have a song somewhere between two of them. By the way, I didn't think about that. So you start to realize that stuff is starting to disappear and music plays. But it's music, it's the instrumental version of the next song, Like Me. Dun 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 dun. And I'm like, I've watched it, I'm like, why is that one playing? You think it should be dun 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 dun, dun from the songs that they do eventually end up singing together later. And that should haunt them, like, no. And then eventually, like, they realize, well, their hair's not getting wet because that's a movie trope. And that's when they do. That song pops up and they sing it. But here they sing the next song. Or it should just be something completely different. Like, it's the instrumental guitar riff that's not connected to any song. Because it stops them from doing that. Or, like I said, it would make more sense if that dun, 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 keeps haunting them until they finally have to sing it because the movie's taking them over. And they think, they're going to disappear, or they're going to go into the movie. I don't know. And they think, okay, so we have to make sure that they get together so that maybe the storm happens at the end and they can leave. That's what happens, so they set up Tanner and Layla. Layla says she wants to learn how to swim, or to surf. She wants to surf. Tanner, Brady's going to teach her how to surf, supposedly, and then, like, Tanner, okay, so first of all, there's a scene where Mac and Tanner are surfing, and it's so fake. It's like a back projection, or whatever it is, green screen thing, and then when she goes to move forward, it's like very weird movements forward. He's like, oh, I've never been beaten by a girl before. I'm like, how? This is a movie? I don't know. Tanner's such a goofy character. I like him though. But, so, Mr. Big Cheese Man and his sidekick find out that they know the plan, so they kidnap Mac and Brady, take him to the secret hideout, and then everything comes back together when Tanner and Layla realize they like each other, and then all of a sudden they know the entire plot to the movie, because they find the little thing that Tanner gave Mac when she fell in the water. It washed away, and so they find it, and then they go to Big Mama's and they're like, "Les Camembert, has created an evil weather machine to destroy Big Mamas, and it's like, wait, how did you come to that conclusion? No one told you that. It's like it's the movie taking over, and now it's back on pat, so they have to do it. But you think there's a scene in the original movie where they figure it out? I don't know. And like, they're like Stinky Cheese Man and his psychic can just kidnap Mac and Brady and don't question who they are, where they came from, why it's different. They don't, like, earlier they showed us that when something doesn't go the way it's supposed to, they stop. They don't know what to do. You think that they see those two and be like, well, who are they? What are they doing here? Why, they're a little confused, but it's just like, I don't know. Because the movie gets back on track now. So them being kidnapped sets the movie back on track, I guess? I don't know, but the bikers and the surfers, they work together, and Butchie, who is this guy, by the way, is her brother and Layla's brother, and it's like, yeah, we'll work together, it's beautiful, we said, or whatever, and they go, and then it's like, I have a fear of lighthouses. Some people it's heights, some people it's the dark. For me, it's the lighthouses. Who's afraid of lighthouses? Well, heights, maybe, but he says it's just lighthouses. And they rush in there and they save the day. Nicolas Cage would say, I'm gonna save a fucking day. So they save the day, and then Tanner and Brady and Mac decide they have to go back. And then, defeats. But while here's something that's gonna be a hang up on the next one. Because I feel like they were going in a certain direction, and they changed it for some reason. I'll get to that in the second movie review for the sequel. But Mac plain tells sidekick guy that he's a character in a movie, and he kind of freaks out. And then they all come in there, they disable the plan, and we see them two in the ocean after the explosion happened. And the psychic man tells Mr. Big Cheese, Les Camembert, whatever, what characters in the movie, like, peels out his fake mustache, like, tell me more. I feel like that was leading something into the sequel, because of where they're placed in the water. I feel like they were leaning towards something, but they say, okay, we have to go back now, and Mac gives Layla a bracelet thing, which comes in handy in the next one, and they use the surfboard and they surf in the water, and they're back where they are without any time passing at all for some reason. And then she surfs a big wave, tells her aunt off, so you can do what she wants. I forgot to mention. So when they're tied up is when she explains. For the entire movie, Mac has been telling Layla, you don't listen to what anyone else says. Do what you want to do. You don't need to do what the bikers do. If you want to surf, surf. Just do what you want to do, not what others tell you to do. And meanwhile, she keeps telling me, I need to get back home so I can do what my mother wanted me to do. And then it's there she realized, I've been telling Layla this whole time, and I've been listening, that whole thing. So, yeah. It's kind of a double thing, like, telling her one thing while you're trying to do the opposite, Yeah, so they get back, she surfs the big wave, they have another dance thing, she tells her aunt off, and her aunt is okay with it, and then they have a little dance thing, and then credits hit. But there's an end credit scene that shows the characters from the movie now in the real world. There's like a thing with a cell phone, and a guy with a mohawk, and which technically isn't followed up on. At least this scene isn't followed up on because they kind of changed it a little bit. I'll get to that when I review the second one. I can talk about it now, but I'll get that when I talk about the second one. But with this one, Teen Beach Movie. Good movie. I would say when it comes to Teen Beach Movie, it's pretty good. So, I recommend it. It's a good one. It's also in my top 10 Disney Channel original movies. So, there's that. So what are your thoughts on Teen Beach Movie? Don't know, comment, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.